What's up? It's your daily dashboard dose with Danica. I was just out walking again. It's getting dark so early now, but it's cool. So sweater weather and blankie weather. We had to turn the heat on last night. I like it because I like fall, especially here at Ogilvy when the trees start changing the colors of the leaves. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I'll send pictures. But while I was walking, I was thinking about a lot, which I can do that. And today's thoughts were about affirmations. We've been talking a lot about identity and, more to the point, lie-identity, and how that affects everything we do. If our core belief is my best will never be good enough, then we will only do as much as we think we can do and no more, because why bother? We'll learn to procrastinate. I learned to procrastinate. Let's be real about it. But then everything that I read and study and come to understand about our mental image of ourselves affects everything we do. And so we have to start with, like Tom Ziegler always says, our mental appetite. What we feed our minds becomes our appetite. So I was studying the Chip Ingram Discovering Your True Self course this morning, and he had us write down what the Bible says in Ephesians about who we are and what we have in that identity. And so as I was walking, I was thinking about how I used to do affirmations, and it just felt so hollow, because someone would say, oh, you have to think abundance and abundance will come. Absolutely. But it's the piece that misses in affirmations is the understanding of why it happens. If someone says, oh, you have to say, whatever it is, pick an affirmation, and then they say, oh, you have to fake it till you make it, right? Well, if we don't have an understanding of it, if we don't have a root as to why something will work or why something will produce results, we will not finish it. And then if we're just going about it because someone else said to, then we're going on their experience and their understanding while we still don't have our own. And sure, it's great to at least try it, but with that mentality of my best will never be good enough, if we're borrowing someone else's experience and it doesn't work for us, then we'll say, see, just like always, it didn't work for me. It worked for them, but it didn't work for me. See, my best never is good enough. The missing piece, the key to that is understanding why it works. And if my identity is that I am loved unconditionally, that love cannot be shaken no matter how bad I mess up, sure, there will be disappointment, and sure, there will be consequences, but it will not take away the love that is unconditional and genuine. If it's not true unconditional love, then it will obviously manifest different or show up different, or we'll experience it differently. But true love is covered in grace and fabulous at trying to understand what happened, and not just understanding and being like, oh, they're there, but saying, hey, I get it. I've been there. And this is how it affected me. And from up till this point moving forward, let's do it different. Let's try something else. And here's why. Because when there's understanding, right? And when there's understanding, we can start developing roots in that belief. And then as we start nurturing the roots, then we'll have different fruit, healthier fruit. We'll have the evidence of what was planted. If we are looking for joy and we understand where joy comes from, that it's not external, but it's internal, and it's our core belief of knowing and believing and trusting that we matter regardless. Again, we can disappoint people, but those who love us unconditionally will always love us. And they'll help us grow through what we've gone through. And so when we start practicing the understanding of what love is, and that we are loved, and that we matter, that our thoughts are important, that we are necessary and significant, and I'm speaking to you right now, then those roots get stronger and deeper and wider, and it just nourishes every part of your core belief and your identity, and then everything around you will change. And it takes a lot of practice, because we can understand it and we'll be doing great for a day or two and then get sideswiped by something, and oh, there it goes again. See, I know it doesn't work. But it's just like when we learned to drive. We had to practice driving. We have to practice new thoughts, practice new beliefs until they become our own. And it makes all the difference in the world. And it starts with who you are and whose you are, and how desperately you matter to the person who created you. To the one who created you. He's actually not a person, but we show up as him. And I just want you to know that it's worth trying. Little tiny baby steps. My one quote that I've been saying a lot lately is Mr. Ziegler's, hurricanes and tornadoes get all the publicity, but it's the termites that do the most damage because they take such little tiny bites. And so when we just do things one step at a time, when we start from where we are with what we have and take a step, the next step will appear. The next step will then reveal itself. And so will your true identity. And having community is imperative to reflect that back to you. To remind you of who you are. To remind you of the times when you may be practicing an old habit and how it will be, how you can compare the two. Oh, see how that sounds like what used to be. What would you say now that you know you're unconditionally loved and that you matter and that your purpose is magnificent and so needed right now? Oh, that's right. Thanks for the reminder. That's this, and the confidence and just even the way you walk through the house will be different. And maybe start with childlike wonder. We adults are missing out by having left our childlike wonder in our childhood. Some of us may not have had any childlike wonder. What better time than now to be curious about everything? To go back to the why stage and really ask why, for a true understanding of why, and make different decisions based on your new understanding. That's going to be the new challenge. The why challenge. The curious challenge. Let's do it. And I'm excited because that, even just talking about it, you can see it gets me doing the seated happy dance. So Affirmations are great, but I'm going to ask you to take it a little bit deeper. Why do they matter? Whatever affirmation you're working on today, give it some feet, give it some legs, give it some roots into why it works. Not just because so-and-so said it or it's worked for someone else, but why? Is there science behind it? Has it worked for you before? I want to know why it is so that you can do it again and do it again and do it again and do it again and do it again until you actually see the results consistently. Because it all comes down to what you feed your mind about who you are. And I'm going to give you a new menu. So keep listening, keep practicing, keep remembering who you were before the world told you who you weren't. Torch the identity and ignite your greatness. I love you. God bless. Peace.